Welcome to the final chapter of our explainer on Khalid ibn al-Walid, truly one of the greatest warriors in all of history. After conquering one empire, he turned his sights on another. But to even get a shot at the full might of Rome, he first had to lead his army across a completely impossible, waterless desert. Now, before we jump in, just a quick heads up. This whole explainer is based on the fantastic lectures of Dr. Roy Casagrande, an American professor of political science. This is it, the end of our 5-part series on Khalid. If you missed the earlier parts, you can find them all over on our channel, Spotwork Learning. And hey, while you're there, if you like what we do, please hit like and subscribe. We have a lot more series planned that you won't want to miss. All right, let's get into it. So that impossible dessert I mentioned, well, that was the key to Khalid's entire strategy. This wasn't just another military campaign. This was a logistical miracle. It was a crazy plan designed to hit the Romans right where it hurt, in the heart of their eastern power, the city of Damascus. I mean, just picture it. He marches his army through this absolute wasteland with the goal of completely bypassing all the Roman defenses and just appearing where they were least expected. This was the definition of high risk, high reward. Honestly, no sane conventional general would even dream of attempting this. And this slide just perfectly sums up the situation. You've got the Roman Emperor Heraclius ruling this vast but totally exhausted empire. He's so constrained by his logistics that he can't even afford to group his big armies in one place. And then you have Khalid, who just decides to create his own rules, basically turning the desert itself into a secret weapon. So this insane desert gambit, it all leads to one place, a decisive, history-altering confrontation. We're talking about the legendary Battle of Yarmuk. This is the battle that would break the back of an empire. Just look at these numbers. Seriously, Khalid's forces were outnumbered 3-1 by this massive Roman and Christian Arab army. On paper, this shouldn't have even been a fight. This should have been a slaughter. For 6 unbelievably brutal days, the battle just raged. It was fought on an absolute knife's edge. The momentum swung wildly back and forth between what looked like total collapse for the Muslims and these incredible, desperate recoveries. It all set the stage for one of the most unbelievable moments in the history of warfare. And that moment came on the second day. The Muslim flanks just completely shattered under the sheer weight of the Roman attack. The men started to flee. But then, the women in the camp, they grabbed the giant posts holding up their tents, charged their own retreating husbands and brothers, and shamed them into turning around and fighting. It was an absolutely incredible moment that single-handedly saved the army from being wiped out. So on the final day, Khalid, who by the way had been unofficially put back in command for this battle, unleashes a tactical masterpiece. He bets everything on one massive cavalry maneuver. He sends a small force to secretly capture their only escape bridge overnight. Then he swings his main cavalry force all the way around their flank, pinning the entire massive Roman army against these deep, inescapable ravines. It was a perfect trap, and it led to a complete and utter rout. With the main Roman army in the region just shattered, the path to the holy city of Jerusalem was wide open. But the way it was captured, well, it was unlike any other conquest in history. It wasn't defined by bloodshed, but by an extraordinary meeting of 2 completely different worlds. You see, the city's leader, Archbishop Sophronius, agreed to surrender, but he would only do it to the Caliph himself, Omar. And the meeting between these 2 men, wow, what a visual. Sophronius shows up representing all the pomp and wealth of Rome, carried on a gilded couch. And then Omar arrives, dressed in patched rags, taking turns riding a single camel with his servant, a conqueror, showing up as the picture of absolute humility. And then Omar offers terms of surrender that were just unheard of at the time. No looting, no enslavement, no destruction of property. He told the Roman officials they could simply pack up whatever they could carry and leave peacefully. Sophronius, the archbishop, was so completely taken aback, so shamed, really, by the caliph's humility and his generosity that he surrendered the city right there on the spot. Sophronius then offered Omar a great honor to pray inside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the holiest site in Christianity. But Omar refused. He told him, "The first place I pray will become a mosque. I don't want you to lose your church." He knew that if he, the caliph, prayed there, his followers would eventually convert it. And by refusing, he basically saved that church for Christians for centuries to come. And that brings us to the final, and really quite poignant chapter of Khalid's life. You see, after a career filled with impossible victories, his end wouldn't come on the battlefield that he loved so much. Can you believe it? Right after securing two of the greatest victories in history, shattering two empires in the process, Khalid was immediately dismissed. Caliph Omar, his own cousin, was afraid of his immense fame. He was worried Khalid might have political ambitions. So the architect of this incredible conquest was just sent into retirement. So this legendary general, a man whose body was so covered in scars that you literally couldn't place your hand anywhere on him without touching a combat wound, he died not in the heat of battle, but in his bed at the age of 50. And his final words, they just captured the tragic irony of a warrior's peaceful death. And this really leaves us with a final thought to chew on. The story of this entire conquest was defined by two incredibly powerful, yet almost opposite forces. You have the unmatched military genius of Khalid, and you have the profound moral authority and humility of Umar. So the real question to take away from all this is, what is a true victory? Is it winning the battle on the field, or is it conquering the hearts and minds of your enemies through sheer force of character?